Let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
Stop! That's the signal! Go! Go! Six! It's beautiful! Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Start your day with a jolt of energy and no-holds-barred opinions. This is The Rush, where Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bring you bold, unfiltered, and uncensored takes on sports, life, and everything in between. Buckle up, and let's go.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about right there. A little different music. Go on the road, and you're like, oh, I forgot my music beds. Welcome to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Good to have you along on a Tuesday. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushladio.com or on the Android app, good to have you here this morning. If you're watching on YouTube, give this video a like. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments in the comment section. We're here till 8 o'clock today. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. And this thing's working, I think, Ross. I think it's working.
It looks good. It sounds good. I like the music.
Rocking out. Yeah, I'm just shutting off.
Was that Owen?
No. It was some canned music that we have, and I just like, okay, there it is. There it is.
Like it. You are live.
I'm live via Starlink in Fort Robinson, Nebraska. It's Crawford, Nebraska, but I'm on you guys know this if you're a regular Rush listener that I come out here about every 2 years, and I'm being illuminated by a cell phone light, and and I'm an hour later than you, or earlier than you. No, later than you. So it is 5:02 where I'm at.
See, I would say hour earlier, but I think that it's right that you're behind us on the time.
I don't know. I'm not that smart.
I'm not either. And really, it's the same time everywhere. We just call it different things.
Yes. Well, no, because it's the rotation of the sun.
Yeah, but it's the same moment for all of us at the same time. We just call it different things.
Yeah.
Time is a conception.
The space-time continuum.
Well, time is a theory. Power is a illusion. I don't even know.
So I do have a question for you before we keep going. Am I on the butt? Is my voice going?
Oh! I didn't even check here. Hold on.
Just to make sure that my you see a little green thing when I talk. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So Ross and I had to do some troubleshooting literally 30 seconds before we went on the air. And that was, we knew we were going to be live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, but we're like, oh, the audio stream. And then I'm like, it's not, I can't hear Ross on that side. So we had to make some adjustments, but it all worked out. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing really good. Yeah. Had a good day yesterday. I watched Eli play baseball. Hung out with some friends last night. So yeah, had a good evening. Good night's sleep. I'm in a good mood. Have been last several days. I've woke up, we get the show started, and it just feeling good. Yeah. So
Mike's
that's how I feel today. Got coffee going.
Mike's saying I'm a little quiet. And I am quiet.
So do I?
No, I did that.
Do I need to turn you up?
No. There's not much you can really do about it because we're running through a little tiny laptop. Ross has a much better system than I do on location, but we'll make do with it today. It's pretty cool. I got out here this morning about 3:30 in the morning to set up my Wi-Fi. Right, I'm stringing cable, putting up satellite dishes. I'm feeling like Raleigh, our old engineer. I'm like, hey, they would be proud of me. I can actually do something that's technically advanced. So I felt like I accomplished something by just being able to get on the air this morning. So.
Speaking of old friends, did I tell you I saw Raleigh couple. I helped Raleigh's mom passed away, and I helped sell Raleigh's mom's house. So I got to see Raleigh here recently. I know what Raleigh would say. He'd go, "I always knew you had it in you. You always could have done it.
Always could have done it." That's funny. That's awesome. Something broke yesterday. I'm just going to dive right into this because I find it very, very interesting. And yesterday, the University of Iowa launched its fight funds. And they reacted pretty quickly after the House settlement. The House settlement came down on Friday. We talked to Brian Harden yesterday from Drake University on how it would really affect, kind of a smaller institution in Drake. I was going all into this, Ross. They've retained and hired Scott Pioli. Scott Pioli is the former general manager of the Kansas City Chiefs. And basically, this is going to be a fundraising arm that is tax deductible. You're going to get points for your season tickets and all that other stuff. And but it's part of that the salary cap. So, we this is the way I interpret it. I'm just going to go ahead and read some of the what are fight funds. This is directly from HawkeyeSports.com. Fight funds are a new charitable avenue that allow donors to invest in student-athlete revenue sharing and help Iowa build championship-caliber programs. These funds will support revenue sharing for football, men's basketball, women's basketball, and men's wrestling, along with general support for the fight funds. So when we talk about that salary cap, you are now asking donors to give to the university as part of the revenue share. Just you're bleeding. I hate to be this cynical, and I know we did it with the collective, but to me, this is a little different. And I reached out to Brad Hinrich last night. Haven't heard from him, and he usually doesn't ghost me, but and I don't think he's doing it on purpose. But there's a section on the website that says what happens to the swarm, and basically all deals signed before July 1st are active and don't have to count towards like the Deloitte thing and stuff like that. I guess my big question is, does the swarm go away, and is this all in-house now? There's a lot to take in here. A lot to take in.
A lot. And so, all right, let's go back to the beginning. So they put Scott Pioli on. They've hired a former NFL general manager.
I mean, that's going big time.
To come in and oversee this new what's the right way? I'm not trying to dismiss it. What verbiage do they put on it? Does he have an actual title, or is it like he's gonna oversee the flight or the fight? I'm sorry.
The fight funds. The
fight funds.
The fight funds. So
and I'm not again. I don't want to get hung up on this, but is he the CEO of it? Is he the president of it? Is he the director of either way? Whatever. They've hired a general manager from an NFL team, former NFL GM. That's what type of job he's going to be doing. Yeah. Travis, that's normal. Dude, here's the thing, dude. General managers at the NFL level, they're not fundraisers.
No, but you understand the money aspect of what it takes to pay players. You are negotiating contracts as a general manager to pay players.
Yes.
So this isn't Brad Hinrichs. This isn't like Brent Bloom, who's going out there and just saying, hey, coaches, you tell me what you want to pay. You have a guy that has negotiated contracts with NFL players and basically understand the money aspect of this. This is a big time hire, and he was retained a year ago, they said, and what a best kept secret that has been for the University of Iowa to really kind of keep that under wraps. Say, hey, we're looking long term. We know this is coming. We want to retain your services, and when the time is right, we're going to hit go. I guarantee Iowa kind of. You remember when Texas A&M was ahead of the curve on collectives? I think Iowa's ahead of the curve here when it comes to attacking revenue sharing. Now, somebody else may come out later on and launch this, but Scott Pioli's a big name. Now, he wasn't the most popular guy in Kansas City, but he is a big name that can add a lot of credibility and does add a lot of credibility to this revenue sharing new world of college athletics.
Now the next thing that I wrote down was said twice in that press release. You've now said it twice as well. We're going to get to that, but this Scott Pioli hire, Trav, like as we've just been talking about this, I've kind of had that realization in my head of who this guy is, what this job actually is going to be. This is not. I mean, this is not a fundraiser. This is a money manager. This is a general manager.
I would almost say almost because there's a general manager who will help with roster, in recruiting. Kind of that recruiting coordinator moved into, the general manager role. This is almost like a chief operations officer for.
Good word for it. That's a good word for it. Yeah, man. Huh. Yeah, we are getting a couple of notes that you sound louder than I sound louder than you do. Yeah, this is the it's the new internet. Blame Elon.
It's the world we live in right now, and you're gonna have to deal with it. There's not much. I don't have a mixer here. I can't, and I'm not gonna harp on it because
it's all right. Yeah. And again, just blame Elon. It's real easy. All right, so Travis, you just talking about this with you, man, has made me kind of come to this realization of how different this job is going to be. When I saw this press release, my first thought was like, isn't this the swarm? But let's get to that word, that phrase. It's 2 words. Said it twice in that press release because there's, excuse me, there's nothing that you say in that press release about the fight that's different from what the swarm is, except for 2 words: revenue sharing. Other than that, you described the swarm when you read that thing about what the fight club is, or whatever they're calling it.
The fight funds. Fight
funds. Yeah, fight club. So revenue sharing is the big part of that. This is the thing that they're saying. Okay, and so does this replace the swarm?
And that's what I reached out to Brad Hinrich for last night, because I was like, okay, what does this actually mean? And Beth Getz really doesn't answer it in her news release. So here's what it says about how does this affect the Swarm Collective. NIL agreements, including those established through the Swarm Collective that were signed prior to the approval of the settlement, can remain in place and do not count towards revenue sharing cap provided payments and received by student athletes prior to July 1, 2025. That doesn't say that doesn't tell me anything.
It says get us deals right now.
That's exactly what it says.
If you can get us deals in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we're going to be good. Nobody's going to say anything. We don't have to. I mean, not necessarily we don't have to report this stuff, but lot less trouble, guys. Let's get this thing in. Everything will be grandfathered.
But there will still be separate NIL deals that take place, right? Because remember, everything that takes place has to go through Deloitte. So is the Swarm going to be in charge of those? Like, hey, we still need to find marketing opportunities for our student athletes, and will that take place? I would assume yes, but man, that's a lot of work for Brad Hinrich and the Swarm Collective just to say, hey, we've been sitting here for the last 2 years raising money, and so you could go spend this. Now you want us to go find sponsorship deals or marketing deals. I'm just going to say, if I'm Brad Hinrich, I'm going to say, hey guys, I did what I could. I took you. Remember that scene in what was the Tom Hanks movie about music? The Wonders.
That thing you do.
That thing you do. Remember they were hired by a manager, and he says, guys, I've taken you as far as I can take you. It's time for me to hand this off. Is this where Brad Hinrich says, hey, I've taken you as far as I can. Scott Pioli, you take this revenue sharing thing. And players, you know what you have NIL deals for? That's what your agent's hired for. You're paying your agent 10 to 15%. If you want an NIL deal, tell your agent to go get you an NIL deal. That's what I would do. I'd be like, you know what? I'm just going to sit back, be a fan again, and watch games.
And Trav, again, make sure you throw that L in there. Flight funds.
Flight funds.
Flight funds.
Sorry,
that's okay. That's dude.
You know why fight?
It's a stupid name. It's a stupid name. It's a dumb name. These like the different names for them. Send us your money. Send us your money. Send a check. Iowa City, Ames. We need your money. We need it as fast as we can, right away. Send it now. We'll figure out what to do with it. So, okay, there's so much about this. There's so much about this. So does Scott Pioli, again, you mentioned this, and this kind of went past quickly here. Did you say they've had him on retainer for a year?
They put him on a retainer, and he's technically a consultant, so he may not have a title.
Okay.
But when you're a consultant, you're getting paid to provide a service. I mean,
give your expertise and advice, and you're an Okay, so they've had him on retainer for a year. Like you said, dude, great foresight. I'm telling you, dude, one thing that we were really wrong about was Kirk Ferentz being behind the curve. Because of his playing style, we all thought, this poor guy is going to be left in the dust, old timer. NIL comes out, dude kills it. Doesn't do good. He kills it. And I'm not saying with the end product. I don't mean that they ended up winning national titles. I mean, they landed the biggest names. They got the guys they wanted almost every time, and they had them on the line every time. And now for a year ago to hire an former NFL GM, say, hey, you're gonna help us navigate some of this stuff. Somebody put it in the chat earlier, and they're exactly right, man. Travis, this is an example of that stay in your lane thing. Know your expertise. I having become very good friends with Bruno over these last several years, I've learned this to be one of Bruno's great skill sets. Bruno knows his area of expertise, and he stays in it. And then what he does is he finds other people that have area of expertise, and those are his business partners. He says, I'm going to stay here. I'll focus here. You guys focus here, and everything will go this direction.
Well, in the corporate world, we call it right person, right seat, right?
Good way to put it.
Not everybody can do every single job that is out there. And some people are meant to lead. Some people are meant to do. Some people are meant to market. I work full-time for a construction company. If you put me in an estimator seat, I would be really, really bad at that. It would not fit what I do for a living. I know what my capabilities are. So it's the right person, right seat.
Yeah,
is what it comes down to.
I love that phrase.
And I knew you would have to. And listen, Iowa State's in this boat. Probably every university in this boat is going, okay, how? Because they don't want to give up money. When we talked about that Excel spreadsheet line item for $20.5 million, they're like, well, hold on for a second. We had that earmarked for something else. So how do we make that up? Well, corporate sponsorship and people to say, hey, will you give us money so we can keep that $20.5 million for other things within the athletic department and have you pay that? I mean, this is going to be an all-encompassing thing, meaning individuals can give, but you're also going to see more corporate sponsorships, which will help offset some of that cost. And I get that. You want more. You want more cash flow because your TV revenue share is set. Everything else is set. You got to go, okay, how are we going to raise this money so we don't hit our bottom line? You don't want more expenses.
Travis, we should have seen this coming. We knew that everything had to go in-house. The way that things were set up by the We Will Collective and by the Swarm, they could not be just adopted into the umbrella of the universities. So the universities had to create another entity. Iowa State's is coming. And I think it's a different job. It's a totally different job. What Scott Pioli is going to be doing for the flight funds is totally different than what Brad Hinrich did for 100%. The Swarm.
100%. I don't disagree with that at all.
I'm not kidding here. I hope they have got something special planned for Brad Hinrich in Iowa City. I don't just say that because Brad's become a guy that we know and a guy that I'd call a friend, but dude, picked up the ball and ran with it the way he did for free. Spent his own money as far as I can tell.
The dude's worked his tail off, right? But now,
and same thing to Brent Bloom. Same thing to Bloom,
Yes.
a guy that I do have known for 20 years and do call a friend. The same thing to him. Now, I think, Bloom being here close to his university geographically, that's probably going to be a big advantage to him. I imagine that means Bloom will be brought into the fold with it. The We Will cannot, as an entity, it's set up with different rules. But the people can, and Bloom's a great person.
Well,
to bring him, and respected, connected, all the things, talented, all the yids. Yeah. So you bring him in, but what do you do for Brad Hinrich? Cut him a check?
He should have priority points the rest of his life.
He should have free season tickets for the rest of his life.
You should never ask him for another contribution whatsoever. He's contributed more than most human beings ever will. I know maybe it should be the Brad Hinrich's something position. You know how the University of Iowa names every position.
Maybe Scott Pioli's position should be. That'd be great.
But
no, I think
and there's still so many questions with so few answers right now. I mean, they're very vague. But I will say this: just being this far out in front of it, and they've had plenty of time to prepare. The nice thing about the House settlement, even though it took so long to get approved, is that universities, and I was not alone in this, had plenty of time to go, okay, how are we going to tackle this thing? Remember when when the Supreme Court just flipped the switch and said, okay, you can pay players now? That was the Wild West. It was like, holy crap. Texas A&M starts this collective, like, oh, we got to start a collective. And Iowa, and I would even say Iowa State at the time, was running behind in the collective world because they didn't organize fast enough. And Brad Hinrich has told us several times on the show that he picked up the ball and ran with it because nobody else was doing it. And it kind of hit him off guard on how they were going to do this. Because I think most people were like you and I. Oh, okay, you're going to go get a deal with Hy-Vee. You're going to go get a deal with a local car dealership. This is completely different.
Yeah.
This is 100% different. And the good thing is because and there were rules that the university, remember, the coaches couldn't negotiate, couldn't do any of this. This is a much better organizationally and structurally better for the universities because you're able to have a corporate entity like the athletic department running it and understanding it.
Has more structure, has more oversight, I think. It definitely has more oversight. Hell, with Deloitte involved. There's some more interesting parts of this thing, Trav. Only 4 sports.
Well, there is the general fund, but we did learn what sports matter at the University of Iowa.
And then only 4 were named. I wrote them. I was writing down notes as you.
Only
football.
Only 4 were named.
Football, men's basketball, women's basketball, and wrestling. Now, I think that the majority of fans, if they're being honest and real, would say, yeah, those are the 4 sports that matter. What about baseball? What about field hockey? What about
soccer? What about track and field?
I don't even know. I don't even know the other sport. I don't know because it ends with those. It really does end with those 4. If we're talking about what matters here.
And I was an outlier in the fact that wrestling is in there, right? I mean, if you go to Iowa State,
that's a good point.
If Iowa State were to announce something like this, would wrestling be in that mix? I don't know the answer to that.
Great question.
I don't know the
Great
answer.
Great question, Travis. I think here's the deal. I think Dresser might have saved that. Yes. They're right there. And I think that right now, Jamie Pollard, with the success they've had in these last couple of years, I think right now the answer is yes. I understand that I understand what you're saying there, and it might be a conversation, more of a conversation than wrestling fans in the state would want it to be. I think the answer right now is still yes, though, that wrestling would would be that fourth sport at Iowa State? Are we missing something?
Well, it's not going to be softball. It's not going to be women's soccer, and it's not going to be.
Wrestling's the
gymnastics.
Wrestling. Come on, it's got to be. Yeah, it's wrestling. It's wrestling. Can I share one because I've seen this from a few different folks on the chat also, and I just want to address this real quick if that's okay. Dude from Iowa wrote in and says, "I'm not contributing if this is just going to be going to the salaries for fancy execs," and he's talking, of course, about a former NFL general manager, Scott Pioli. He isn't working for free, and he's probably not on the same salary level as Brent Bloom, right?
No, not even close.
So I guess some of the questions are, who pays that salary for Scott Pioli? Does that come out of the university's general fund?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say it comes out of the athletic department.
Thank you. That's the important clarification, draft. Because here's the deal, dude from Iowa and all the other guys that are saying that. Your money has always gone to those execs. Your money helped build it's your money. It's our money. It's all our money. We're the fans. We're the fuel that feeds the fire. And not just passionately money. It's our money.
And that's not going to change, right? And you sit there and go, the billions of dollars that are being thrown around for television contracts and all this stuff, yes, that's part of it. But when you have money, what do you want more of, Ross? You want more money.
And what do you get when you get power? What do you want? You want more power.
And you want to compete. I like this because it's saying you want to compete, you want to stay ahead of the curve. Is it the right move? Nobody knows. But if you don't try something, if you don't get out of it in front of it, you're going to fall behind. And what can you not do in today's day and age of college athletics? You cannot fall behind. You can't afford to fall behind.
The fall behind thing is what we saw. In my opinion, that's what we saw, that change from Jamie Pollard and Brent Bloom. Remember about a month ago or so, we saw this change. It went from, we think we're doing okay, to, oh shit. And now I feel like the reaction has gone back to, okay, somewhere in the middle. We're not as good as we thought we were for a minute. We're not as bad as we thought we were for a minute. And I think, Travis, that that's the math that a guy like Jamie Pollard, an accountant, is doing. The long-term compounding math of, once we fall behind, we'll fall way behind really quickly.
515. Oh, you know what? There's no phone calls today because I don't have the whole setup today. So if you want to reach out to us, you can just go to therushradio.com. You can also email us, Travis@therushradio.com or Ross@therushradio.com. And if you're listening on YouTube, you can leave your comments in the chat. We've been reading lots of those this morning. It is the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vents, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
The Royal Mile, where everyone's a wee bit British. The Royal Mile is downtown Des Moines' living room with classic pub favourites. Pair them with a glass of whiskey or an expertly poured Guinness. It's bloody brilliant. The Royal Mile, a proper British pub.
There's always something new at Fong's Pizza. The patio is open and ready for you, your friends, and an ever-changing menu of tiki drinks. Or try our new noodle dishes alongside your favorite slice. It's all happening this summer at the new Fong's in the East Village.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know. High-quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
So, you're driving along the road and minding your own business when a thought pops into your head.
When's the last time I had my alignment checked?
You know it's important. Poor alignment can impact your tire wear, your grip on the road, and even your gas mileage. But just as your mind starts to ache and the sweat starts to pool around your lower back, you remember, I service my car at Willis Cadillac in Clive, Iowa, and they check the alignment for free with the purchase of any service. And the serenity of that thought frees you once again. Give us a call or head online to williscadillac.com to schedule your appointment today.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
The best bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
All right, welcome back to the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive. Good to have you along on a Tuesday. We've had a nice long conversation about the flight funds from the University of Iowa, where it's different, Ross, compared to a professional organization, is that they have revenue from television, they have corporate sponsorships, they have season tickets, but they don't. Professional fans or professional teams don't go to their fans and say, hey, just give us more money so we can continue to, pay our players. You've talked about this for years, that fans are the ones who are going to get fleeced. Do you consider this a fleecing of fans by going, hey, and we're going to entice you even more when it comes to giving you priority points, tax deductions, all that other stuff, to say, hey, we're going to make it worth your while?
I mean, yeah, I do, but why don't I have that same? So, Travis, I think it's. I feel like I'm alone. First of all, I feel like most fans don't really give a crap. Most fans don't care. They'll pay. They're willing to shell out the money and shell out the money and shell out the money to win. And they've been told over and over, that's what you can't win unless you shell out money. And if you shell out money, you will win. Well, only one of those things is true. Only one of those things is true. And that's the first one. You got to be in the money run to be competitive now. But you can be in the money run and not be competitive. And that's what I think. That's what's happened with the Hawkeyes, for instance. Brought in Cade McNamara. Here we go. We're actually going to be able to pay players. We're going to be able to pay this quarterback to come. Bump, bump, ba-down. Right? Caleb Brown. We got him, guys. 5-star. Ohio State. What? We're just going to throw the ball up in the air now. Bump, bump, ba-down. You can win. You can have the money. You can get the guys and not win the games, and that's the part that sucks. Travis, go ahead, do the thing, because the fan thing. Yeah, we're going to get fleeced. We're going to have to pay the bills. Yes, we pay those salaries. It's always been a shell game and a conversation where the vocabulary gets manipulated by using these stupid things that the NCAA, I'll use mean words, brainwashed all of us with. Amateurism. What's that mean? What do you mean? People are getting paid? People are getting paid, just not the players, right? and then as soon as you start to pay the players, nobody's going to take a pay cut, dude. No, everybody has this not in my backyard attitude. We should build homeless shelters. Not in my backyard. We need to take pay cuts, but not mine. We need to restructure this entire system. There's millions of dollars that are a shorthand. Who's going to take it? We're going to ask the people to give us more. Travis, what a great thing to say to you. Like another, you dropped a veil off there when you said, here's one of the differences between this and the pro model. The Chicago Bears don't ask you to send them dollars. When was the last time George Steinbrenner never once came out and said, guys, we need money.
You want us to keep Derek Jeter?
You want us to keep Derek Jeter? You're going to have to send us money. What the hell? Do you think this is free? You want to be competitive? Do you even want to compete? That's the attitude I feel like comes off of these athletic departments. And I want to be careful because it's not Jamie Pollard. Jamie Pollard doesn't project that. I think Jamie's doing everything he can up at Iowa State to keep the dollars and cents making sense and having a long-term vision and trying to make it so that what? Everybody makes more money down the road.
And that's what every business tries to grow so everybody can make more money. It's just how you go about doing it.
And once these become private entity groups, and private equity groups probably. Again, I think they probably end up selling off the logos and the athletic departments break off from the institutions. And then you've got shareholders. And what do shareholders want, Travis? Profit.
You know, Charlie brings up a good point, and we do stand corrected in a way, and that is pro teams ask money from their cities to help build stadiums.
Yeah, great. Exactly. They do it in the form of taxpayer subsidies. Rather than coming directly to you and saying, pennies, please, they lobby for the government.
And say billions,
Charlie,
please.
Yeah, look at the economic impact it's going to have on St. Louis if you keep the Rams here. Do you want St. Louis to be St. Louis? Because it won't be St. Louis if the Rams leave town.
Look at Kansas City right now, right? I mean, Kansas City is trying to build a baseball stadium downtown. That vote measure failed. Then you have the threat of, well, if you're not going to vote for this, we're going to have to go to the Kansas side of the river because they're going to be much more supportive over there because they're willing to invest in the community to bring and it's all under the veil of economic development. And sometimes it works, and there is economic development.
Yes, I mean, again, everybody that's been in Des Moines for 20 years knows what happened when they built that arena downtown. And I was one that was like, you're never going to get Paul McCartney to come. He was the first freaking concert. Right? So it does drive it does drive it. This thing, I love that example. I love that call back to professional sports because that's what this is becoming. That's what we've known it is a version of professional sports for a long time. Again, they lied to us by calling it amateurism and then just keeping the money, having one wall. Can't pay these guys. Everybody else gets money. Everybody else gets paid. But those guys don't. It's been a professional sport for a long, long time outside of that. I love dude from Iowa or whoever that was that said that. The great call, or Charlie, that you're right. The professional teams coming to this lobbying the state is very much a form of the same thing.
And maybe where the lines get blurry, and this is coming in on the chat, is that, you know, when you look at the Yankees, you look at the Bears, you look at any professional sports teams, those are private entities. I think when you look at a public institution, you view what executives make a little bit differently. And it said, you know, they don't care how many executives the Yankees have because their revenue model and being a private entity gives them autonomy to spend the money they want to spend the way they want to spend it. When you're a public institution, it's a little bit different. Again, but Ross, you hit the nail on the head earlier. When all fans really care about, are we winning or are we losing? And you want to win. You want to compete. You want to stay on top of the game. You don't want to fall behind. Are these gifts to the flight funds tax deductible? This is from the HawkeyeSports.com. Yes, gifts to the flight funds are tax deductible. Please check with your tax advisor. That's pretty vague. That's pretty vague.
Can I be a complete dick for a second?
Sure.
Hey,
I wouldn't expect anything else.
Your religious donations are tax exempt. What's your shrine? What's your shrine? You want to give it to you want to give it to the cross? That's tax exempt. You want to give it to the tiger hawk? That's tax exempt.
Want to give it to Habitat for Humanity? That's tax exempt. Want to give it to
We've made college. Yeah. We've made college sports.
So it's a weird world, but there's always been tax.
What a time to be alive, dude.
It really is. And folks, I hope you're realizing you're watching a paradigm shift happen in real time. Usually it's a slow burn, and you're like, oh, that just shifted. This is disruption. Anjanette, when we were driving in our long 8-hour drive yesterday, she's like, taxis don't like Ubers, hotels don't like VRBO. That's innovation. I said, no, that's disruption. That is disrupting the status quo. We are now seeing a disruption happen, and NIL disrupted it. This is a major disruption.
Travis, I think you've pointed this out a few times too, and I think it deserves good job on Iowa being way ahead of this.
Yes.
Having Scott Pioli on retainer. And again, this that's not a knock on Iowa. I don't want Iowa State fans to hear that as a knock on Iowa State. They're in different worlds right now. They're already in different financial worlds. The Hawkeyes are in a place with Big Ten money where they can retain a former NFL GM for a year to help them navigate through and be a consultant.
And
smart out of Beth Getz and the team up there.
So I sent another text to Brad Hinrich. I said, hey, just sent you an email. If you can join us at 7 o'clock, do, because we have questions for Brad, because what does the Swarm Collective play a part in this? And those are answers we're trying to get. Would like to know more about, and I'm sure he's pretty up to date on this now. I mean, he's got the direct line to Beth Getz, Kirk Ferentz, probably Scott Pioli as well, because there probably has to be some work in coordination with that to just say, hey, what do you have in place right now, so we understand. And you were right, because we're not at July 1st yet. July 1st is when this kicks in. There's a lot of players out there going, get me a deal. You get me a deal right now that I can get money that I don't have to go through a clearinghouse on, just to make sure that my worth is worth $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, whatever that is.
Got 3 weeks, man. They mentioned that date for a reason. In the press release, they mentioned that information for a reason.
Yeah. July 1 is when the world changes in college sports. Very much so.
How about just send us the check with June 30th on the line, okay? And we can negotiate what we put in the rest.
Can we post date or predate the contract just to say July 30th?
Listen, electronic signatures usually have the timestamp on them. You've got to get this stuff done.
But we brought this up with Brian Harden yesterday. If you missed the Brian Harden interview yesterday, when we talked about Drake, and their world is completely different than Iowa State. Completely different than Iowa State. I mean, the $20.5 million salary cap and that's what we're going to call it. It is a salary cap, is not even Drake's athletic budget. So we brought up, you need.
I want to be careful because he did clarify you and tell you it's. Didn't he say that his entire athletic budget was actually north of that?
No, south of that.
Okay. I thought at one point he did clarify and go, it's a little more than that, but.
When you
to your point.
When you look at football, in adding sports to bring in more revenue, and they talked about clubs and stuff like that. But when you see Iowa put out, hey, it's it's football, basketball, women's basketball, and wrestling, and then you have the general fund. Do you start saying we need to cut some sports? We need to go, okay, do we need track and field? Do we need golf? Do we need these things to be functional? And the answer is no. All you really need is football. And then everything else kind of falls in place.
I mean, truth be told, letter of the law right now, Travis, you do need those sports, right, in order to maintain your NCAA eligibility and keep that money coming in from the NCAA. But I think what you're talking about here is in the near future.
Yes.
What? Because the NCAA that's the pieces are falling off.
Yeah, because when a Greg Sankey from the SEC and the Big Ten commissioner go, hey, you know what, NCAA, these our schools don't want to maintain all these sports. You have this rule that you have to have a minimum of 15 sports. It's just not going to work under the financial model that is out there now. You got to pay players. You can't support all these other sports that are really just, that's overhead. That is overhead. Somebody said earlier that I live in the corporate world too much, that I've become accustomed to overhead. We talk about overhead a lot. Overhead is a major topic of conversation.
If we're talking about money, if you just talk about the income, come on, how many people can do that? You can't just talk about what you're making. You got to talk about what you're spending. That's the other. What? Are you people politicians?
I mean,
are you senators and Congress? You can't just worry about what. Yeah, you got to worry about both sides of the ledger.
If your revenue is $200 million and you spent $205 million, you're $5 million in the hole.
You lost money when you think you made $200 million.
So when you see organizations start making cuts, start letting people go, you go, okay, they're going, we need to cut overhead. We need to make sure our expenses are less than our revenue. And at an institution, where are your expenses coming from? Field hockey, soccer, softball. It's all out there.
Dude, are we I think the answer to this question is no, and I think I answered it earlier when we were talking about how everybody wants to make more money. Nobody wants it in their backyard. Nobody. And that's a human reaction to stuff. Are we ever going to have a reconciliation on coaches' salaries?
No. You're never going to. The bar has been set, and the bar only gets higher. It does. The bar only gets higher. We are in the professional game now, Ross, and it should be understood that the bar is set, and coaches aren't going to take a pay cut to make sure this works.
Kirby Smart screaming about how the system is not sustainable. The financials don't make sense. We're gonna turn these institutions upside down financially. He makes $13 million.
I mean, you asked the question. Why don't you answer the question? Do you
I
think
did.
there's going to be a reconciliation on coaches' salaries?
Hell no. Hell no. I know your kids are watching, so I'll keep it clean. Hell no. Isn't that like...
But you know what? I put myself in that seat. I would do the same thing. I would be like, I'm not taking a pay cut. You're affecting my life.
The system's going to collapse.
The only way you can reconcile coaches' salaries is that if there's an agreement to do it, because you have coaches in place now that are getting paid a lot of money. They're going, okay, I'm not going to take a pay cut. Then if you fire that person or they retire, you could say, okay, this is what you're coming in on. But then you go, well, that's not the going rate.
Yeah, you want a better coach than Matt Campbell. When Kirk Ferentz, I don't want to use Matt Campbell because that implies when Kirk Ferentz is gone in a couple of years, the Hawkeyes want a better coach than Kirk Ferentz. Hawkeye fans want to have the same or more success. How do you do that?
Pay more money. That's what you're. That's what you're believed to have. I mean, look at Kurt Signetti, Indiana, right? He came in at a pretty. I'm not going to say low salary. He's making millions of dollars. You win year one, what do you get right away? It shoots up. It goes up massively. Long-term deal. Coaches' salaries will never be reconciled, ever. It's only going to continue to go up. Now, I don't think it's going to go up as a fast a pace. I think, they shot up there real quick when you start making guys $10 million guys. I don't think you're going to see – it will reach a cap, but they're not going to go down by any means.
Great question by Ryan. Does the Swarm have to unload their coffers before that July 1st deadline, or can they roll that into the flight fund? If we get a hold of Brad, we can ask him that stuff.
Or does the Swarm still exist for NIL deals? That's a big question.
Ryan, my uneducated guess on this is no, that they cannot roll those things into it, because I'm guessing that's why this thing exists. Otherwise, the announcement would have been, we're excited to announce that the Swarm is now the revenue sharing model within the University of Iowa. It's a totally different deal because I think of how all that stuff gets established and created. Brad will hopefully be able to answer some of these questions for us, but my gut says they're not allowed to do that and that they will have to just figure out a way to spend that money through the NIL deals that are currently existing. And by the way, there might not be a lot of money in the bank.
They just spent a lot of money on basketball.
So the answer to that question might be what money? Roll what over?
Yeah, it wasn't like they had a huge coffers.
Ken Payne, our sales guy extraordinaire, he says, remember when the NFL did adjust NFL rookie contracts? They fixed that. Nobody ended up getting Jamarcus Russell, Sam Bradford kind of money again. Maybe there's something, since they're putting a salary cap, and I want to be careful with that terminology also. I've never liked that. I've never liked them saying that about this, that there's going to be a $20 million salary cap. What that is, that's the revenue sharing model. There's no cap. Texas A&M is still going to have millions of dollars more to give their players than Iowa does. Some teams won't be able to get to the 20 million like we've talked about, or are going to have a really hard time getting coming up with that 20 million.
Well, there is a salary cap in the fact that the University of Iowa can only use the allotted $20.5 million to provide funds to its players wherever it sees fit. There can be separate NIL deals that go directly to the players, but the difference now is you have to justify those, which we've talked about many times on the show.
With Deloitte. Yeah, I just think it's a shell game. It's a shell game. The rich are still going to be able to pay a little bit more. So, I mean, this thing of like, it's a salary cap. Well, it's kind of like the Major League Baseball salary cap. You can go over it. You just have to pay.
And get approved. Right?
And get approved. That's true. Run it through Deloitte. But again, dude, everybody's admitted this too. Brian Harden said it. Jamie Pollard said it to us. We spend all these time making these rules, and all these athletic directors and presidents get together and go, okay, everybody, hands in. We agree on these rules, right? Ready? Break. Okay, how do we get around these rules? They all do it. They're all creating the ways. Texas Tech's nailing it. Texas Tech is openly saying 20, double down. Here's 40.
Crazy how much money is out there. And you, the fan, are going to be asked to do it. But at least I was open and honest about it, right?
Yeah.
Hey, fans, there's no – it's just like, we need your support. We need your help doing this. Now, do they really need your help? Yeah, if you want to keep on par, they do need your help.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, don't give and see what happens. Dude from Iowa says, so Deloitte's getting paid on this too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's making money. If you're associated with this in some way, you're making money. There's another software firm, and I forget what it's called. I was reading about it yesterday, that you basically it's an algorithm, right? I mean, you put the position, the name of the player, all this stuff that determines what a fair market value for that position and person is. And somebody's got to monitor that. Somebody's got to develop the software. Somebody's got to administer it. So you have people that create the software. You have Deloitte who administers it. There's a lot of people making money, and that will come out of each institution. That will come out of each conference. That
just wet their beak a little bit on each deal. This is exactly what I was talking about the day this stuff got announced. I'm like, Brian Harden yesterday told us, I got to get off this meeting because I'm going into a sales call for somebody that's created a program that can help me out. Because this is not I'm an athletic director. I'm not a contract lawyer. So I have to start figuring out, because I'm a smart guy who's running a business here, the Drake Athletic Department. I have to now figure out ways to get this job done the most effectively and the smartest way. And that's going to be to pay somebody to do that job for me, because I'm an athletic director. A damn good one. And so I've got to focus on directing athletics. So I'm going to have to pay somebody else to do this other thing that this group told me I'm going to have to do.
Travis at therushradio.com, Ross at therushradio.com. Those are the emails if you want to reach out via email. No phone calls the rest of the week, just because I don't have the software on location to do it. I am live on location. Ross is in his studio. It is the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
You got me falling hard, sweet baby, got me falling hard for you. It's you, I felt this way before, you know it's true. It's you, you got me more and more. Oh, you got me falling hard.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vent, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
Hi, I'm Josh Stromick, Service Manager at Willis Lexus, and I wanted to share our Lexus Summer Signature event. Now through July 6th, you can get $100 off a set of 4 tires, $65 off genuine Lexus battery, $25 off a set of brake pads, and $10 off Lexus genuine wiper blades. The school year is coming to an end, which means summer is right around the corner, and so are the deals at Willis Lexus. Visit us online at willislexus.com or give us a call to schedule your appointment. Thank you and have a great summer.
Largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbox to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig, Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com or on the Android app, thank you so much for joining us this morning. If you're watching on YouTube, it's good to have you here as well. Give this channel a subscription. Give this video a like. Follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram. I got excited there for a second, Ross, because Brad Hinrich jumped on for like a second, and then he disappeared.
Oh, no, I didn't even see it.
Yeah. Oh. Brad.
Well, maybe he'll be able to hop on. Probably had something else came up. I mean, obviously, guy's got more important fish in the pan. I can promise you that.
Either that, he goes, yeah, I'm going to jump on, or then he thought,
and he's like, screw this. I don't even want to do this right now. Give this a week till I figure out what I want to say.
I'm texting him right now, so I saw you for a second.
That's all right. Lots of stuff we can chat about. Hey, so we are going to have a conversation coming up.
Yes, Salvador de Alba. Am I saying that right?
Mm-hmm.
He is going to be driving in the Indy Car race at Newton coming up July 11th through 17th is when the Sukup Indy Car Series comes to the Iowa Speedway. They're doing testing at Newton, and at 7:30, Salvador is going to be joining us. So looking forward to that conversation. 25 years old, Ross. 25 years old. He's from Guadalajara. I believe he's third in the IndyCar standings right now. Second year, I believe, on the series. Drove NASCAR down in Mexico. And tonight, he's going to be throwing out the first pitch at the Iowa Cubs game.
Oh, nice.
Pitch. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, we got our last team into the College World Series. Murray State, out of Missouri Valley Conference, is going. They beat Duke last night, I believe, 5-4. Just the number 4 seed to get all the way to the College World Series. So that's a big deal. All 8 teams are set now, and Murray State is going to be playing in the College World Series. I like rags to riches stories or underdog stories. And if you've never been to the College World Series in Omaha, that team will be well embraced. They embrace those underdogs and teams they haven't seen there before.
I wondered when you first said that, my first thought was some sort of Missouri Valley connection.
No, not the connection. They just like teams they haven't seen before.
I love it.
Underdog story. It's like, oh, you're playing here for the first time. They can get behind you.
Aren't sports just, it's weird what it does to our brains. Like when you say Murray State, I think Steve Prohm. When I see, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
When somebody says Auburn, I think Bo Jackson. When you say Murray State, I think forever in my life as a Central Iowa sports fan, Murray State will mean Steve Prohm. So I'm happy for him. That's cool. I'm with and Travis. By the way, I will follow that same that same fandom path. I usually find myself rooting for the underdog, and again, I say that as a Yankees fan, so that's pretty weird. But I usually do find myself rooting for the underdog, and that Murray State fits into that. Cool story. Go Valley.
We don't have his camera. I'm going to see. I'm just going to add this. It's going to look weird. Just
okay.
to let you know. Hey, Brad, can you hear us?
I sure can, guys. How are you?
Good.
What's up, buddy?
We can't see you for some reason. Your camera's not on, but it's no big deal. As long as we can hear you, that's all that matters, right?
Well, I definitely have a face for radio. I'm down in Peru with my family, and yesterday we had a cooking class and we made ceviche, and the ceviche tasted wonderful. But let's just say it's been a long night.
Oh, okay.
I knew where that was going.
So you're like the camera's off on purpose. Okay,
You don't want to look at me right now.
Okay, I understand that, and the fact
I'm
that,
hideous.
The fact that you're in Peru and then you would actually take the time,
dude,
we appreciate it very much, and we have so many questions because they launched the flight funds, and my first question to you is, will the swarm continue to exist?
Well, I think the answer is yes. Yeah, but I have I have almost as many questions as you guys have. So
hold on, were you in the dark on this?
Plays out. What's that?
Were you in the dark on this?
I'm sorry, my signal isn't great. Say that again.
Were you in the dark on this?
I didn't see the big announcement coming, but the flight thing has been in existence for a few years now. So it's not like they just launched something. It's actually been around. So it's not as if I had never heard of flight before. I just didn't know that. I just wasn't aware that they were gonna market it when they did. But so be it. No big deal. My view is this, guys. To try to put it as simply as possible, I think we're gonna need to both exist for us to be successful. I mean, the flight funds, if you contribute to that, and I'm not going to dissuade anybody from doing so, but if you contribute to that, you're helping the University of Iowa athletics cover their $20.5 million plus anything else they do with their budget, right? If you want to be a differentiator, then I think the swarm is going to be the funds on top of the 20.5. So if we're gonna compete for championships, you think Alabama is going to stop at 20.5? You think Georgia is going to stop at 20.5? You think Ohio State is going to stop at 20.5? You think Michigan is going to stop at 20.5? Do you think Illinois is going to stop at 20.5? The answers are all the same. No.
I hadn't thought about the Illinois of the world. I'm thinking the Texas Techs and the obvious ones. Holy cow, the Illinois. All right, Brad, you have to break this down for me, man, because this is called revenue sharing.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be $20 million of the revenue. The television contracts are $100 million a year. Why is this hand continuing to reach out to the fans to say, we need more of your cash to cover this $20 million when we are signing these huge television contracts?
Great question. And I'm not the leader of the business, but I will tell you this: just if I'm going to defend whether it's Beth Getz or any athletic director out there, I run a business, as you guys know. If suddenly someone says, Brad, you're gonna need to suddenly spend, pick your number. It could be $1 million, $5 million, or 20 million. You got to suddenly spend $20 million that you haven't spent before, and you're going to have to do it every year. And you've been running a business that isn't necessarily one that's, running a 30% margin. I mean, athletic departments tend to be a zero-sum game at the end of the day, a lot of times. And if suddenly you tell them that they've got an extra expense of $20 million, then you're either going to need to A, increase the revenues coming in to cover the 20.5, or B, cut some other expenses to be able to afford the 20.5, right? And so, in my view, the flight money is going to help bring up their top line so that the 20.5 million is affordable.
That makes
you know
sense.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
that's the way
Yeah.
I view it. I mean, I may be wrong on this, but that's the way I view it. Now, is the revenue from Big Ten and whatever going up? Yes. Is the cost of coaches going up? Is the cost of just having student athletes on campus going up? Is the cost of a full ride scholarship going up? Yes. I mean, all those things are increasing. So, my current view, and again, this is going to be something that's going to play out over months and years, not necessarily days. It's not like this is it and it's done and there's going to be no changes from this point forward. I think there's going to be litigation. I think there's going to be clarifications. I think this river is going to continue to meander, and it's not going to. I don't think that this whole the script has completely been written, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But my current view is that the Swarm is going to be the differentiator, monies that go straight to players that will be on top of the 20.5 million. Now, there's going to be some rules. There are some rules in place that'll be interesting to navigate with regards to the amounts of the contracts and contracts going through a clearinghouse and all of that stuff. That'll make things interesting. But in my mind, we are the icing on the proverbial cake. We're the extra. We're not part of the 20.5.
Wow.
So you understand where we're a little bit confused, because if you read the news release on HawkeyeSports.com, and Iowa won't be alone in this, it's confusing even what Beth says about the Swarm, and that is, let me read it. This is verbatim. NIL agreements, including those established through the Swarm Collective that were signed prior to the approval of the settlement, remain in place and do not count towards revenue sharing cap provided payments that are received by student athletes prior to July 1st of 2025. She didn't go on to say, hey, the Swarm's going to continue to exist and you still need to support the Swarm. So we were a little confused by that answer. That's why we wanted you on this morning. Does that make sense how we're kind of confused? I don't know if I want to call it a mixed message or not, but I was like, well, that's vague in my book.
I felt the same way when I read it. So you're not alone in that. And I have not talked to Beth since the settlement. I have exchanged texts with her, and she knows I'm down in Peru. She said, I'm going to get back this weekend. We'll probably talk this weekend. And maybe I'll have a little bit more clarity, but I think that well, she has not told me that she wants us to disband. She has not told me that you guys are no longer going to be part of this. And everything that I hear, read, and in talking to other people in the Big Ten and around the country who run collectives, they're not planning to go away either. So, I guess that's about as transparent as I can be with you guys about what I know, which is everything. I'm telling you everything I know.
You always do, Brad. We greatly appreciate it, man. And we knew we'd get this. We knew if we got a chance to catch up with you, you'd be candid with us. And this, man, I got to tell you, it shocks both Travis and I. I could tell by the reaction he had when you told us. We assumed that you had been in the loop on a lot of these decisions with what we see from our vantage point, what we see that you have done for the University of Iowa over these last several years with the Swarm. Quite frankly, I feel like you deserved a little bit more foresight here. I think you should have been brought in to say, hey, here's what we're planning. How can you help us out? What do you recommend? I don't know. In some ways that you weren't blindsided by this like we are, or still down in Peru with your family trying to figure out what your next step looks like or what your next few months or years look like.
Yeah, it's interesting. Don't get me wrong. There's no hostility or animosity or
yeah, that only comes from me and Travis.
Yeah, no. There's none of that. It's and to be fair, I think everybody's looking for answers too, and it's hard to, it is hard to coordinate a message when you're trying to figure out which steps to take. I can completely understand if I'm Beth Getz why I would say, hey, we've got this flight program, and this is another revenue stream for us to try to help us be able to pay our $20.5 million and not have to cut a bunch of staff or have to do things that help us with our payroll, so to speak. Totally understand all that. We just have not, since the House settlement, we have not had a chance to sit down and talk about exactly how she wants the swarm to play in all this. And I expect that to happen really soon. But the stance that I'm taking is a similar one that other collectives are taking across the country. So until I'm told differently, I'm gonna play the same part as everybody else out there.
When did you know? Now Scott Pioli was retained, I believe, last year. It was announced. When did you know Scott Pioli was retained, and will there be a working relationship between the collective and Scott Pioli?
I heard about him being retained last year. I was a little surprised to see him as part of some of the announcements, because I could be completely wrong on this, but my understanding is that it's not like he's been, front and center involved in everything. I think he's more of in my view, I think he's more of a consultant that, on a case by case basis, sort of like if you've got an attorney out there that you pay for certain matters that when, contracts come up or whatever, where you call and ask for help. That's my understanding of what Scott's involvement is. And I could be wrong on that. I don't know everything. I don't work in Carver, so I don't know, but that was sort of my understanding of what his role would be. Like, he's not taking over for Tyler Barnes, and I talked to Tyler yesterday, and he, Tyler had a lot of people asking him, I think he's had a lot of people asking him, hey, did you get demoted? Because Scott Pioli's a former GM, right? And that's sort of what Tyler's job is. He's the GM. And I don't, Tyler's job is the same. Nothing has happened there. So, I think Scott's just an extra resource, I think, for Iowa athletics. And, and on a case by case basis, when he's needed or they want his input, they'll consult with him and pay him for his insights.
Makes a lot of sense. I think they probably put him front and center in the marketing materials, because when you're a former NFL GM, it gives it a lot more credibility, doesn't it?
For sure, right? Yeah. And I'm not discounting any, his worth or credibility or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think that he's, like I said, I don't think he's Beth Getz number 2 person. Like where he's spending 40, 50 hours a week inside Carver Hawkeye working as a GM.
So they mentioned football, basketball, women's basketball, and wrestling. Is that more or less saying those are the only sports that matter at Iowa?
I think what they're saying is that those are the only sports that generate meaningful revenue. I think that's what they're really trying to say.
Can we let this man get back to his vacation?
Yes.
No, your guys are good. This is fun. I actually enjoyed it. But one of the things I think I don't know if it was Travis that mentioned earlier, the part that's really, really kind of interesting about this is that there has been a scramble. You had mentioned that Beth mentioned that the deals that were in place with the swarm prior to the settlement are going to continue to be honored and whatnot. Well, we knew all that. And so a lot of universities, athletic departments, including ours, have tried to, pay some of our, get kids under contract prior to this settlement, so that anything that we pay them won't be part of the revenue sharing, won't be part of, don't have to deal with the clearinghouse, don't have any of those issues. And so that's been a real interesting dynamic in all of this. And in my mind, it also inflates the price tags of what these kids are going to be making in this coming school year relative to maybe what it will be going forward.
Oh, because people are coming to you right now saying, I want a lot of money because my worth may not be determined by Deloitte. You're determining my worth right now.
That's exactly right. And this old Deloitte thing, guys, you know, I don't mean to be defamatory towards an organization because it's not Deloitte, but I think this whole clearinghouse thing is a joke. No, it's not. It had nothing to do with Deloitte itself. It's you could pick KPMG or pick another accounting firm. I don't care. I think that this clearinghouse, it's gonna go the way of the dodo bird unless they're a rubber stamp. Because the first time they say, Brad, you can't pay this kid X dollars because that's above his market value.
Lawsuit.
Bye-bye. Right? I mean,
how long till the first lawsuit's filed?
Well, it just depends upon how long until they say no. If they just say yes every time, then
and then what purpose do they serve anyway?
That's why I think it's a joke. I think it's either the only answer is going to be yes, and the minute it's no, we're going to have lawsuits, and the minute you have loss, and I don't think they're going to win that lawsuit. So that's just my opinion, guys. They have taken the language of market value out of what the clearinghouse is supposed to say. Used to say that they're going to determine the market value. They have subtly, silently changed the language to reasonable price. It went from market value to reasonable price. I don't know that that's really improving their position much, but again,
might help them in a court case down the road.
Might help them in a court case, but it also is positioning them to just sort of say yes all the time. I mean, right? I don't know how they're going to get by with saying no.
Brad, do you like the fact that the athletic department is aggressively, and I'm going to say aggressively, asking fans to cover the salary cap?
Do I like it? I don't view it as something that really is I don't give a lot of thought to that. I would say, if I was to think about it, since you're asking me now, they're asking fans to pay the price whenever you show up to Kinnick. They're asking you to pay the price when you park your car at Kinnick, or you go to Carver, or any of the Iowa event. You're paying the ticket price. I mean, they could ask for donations, or they could just say, hey, you know what? We're not going to ask for donations. It's $250 a seat, or it's $500 a seat, or it's $1,000 a seat to come watch the games. They could do that. You know what I mean? They could go about it a different way, but I think they're trying to. And again, let's be clear. This isn't just Iowa doing this. This isn't like Iowa's the only one asking for this. This is college athletics.
Yep.
So what you're asking is, really the same question you could be asking, Iowa State, or a question you could be asking Nebraska or anybody else, because they're all doing the same thing. It's not like Iowa is the only ones asking fans for money to help cover the revenue sharing. But I can also understand that if I'm a fan, I get it. Before, you're like, okay, the rules are that we can't, the athletic department can't pay the players, so we have to step in. Right now, the rule is the athletic department can pay players. So Joe Fan says, well, now they can pay them, so I don't have to. And then now the athletic department says, no, we need your help.
which you've been asking for 3 years at $20 a month.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
man.
So it's the world is changing, and hopefully it'll be for the better at some point.
All right, Brad, we're going to let you get back to your family and enjoy Peru. You doing Machu Picchu? Is Machu Picchu in Peru?
Already done Machu Picchu. Really awesome.
Gosh.
Highly recommend it. This morning we're flying deep into the Amazon and going to go swim with piranhas and stuff or something. I don't know what.
Swim with piranhas?
You're already swimming with piranhas. You understand that, right? Working in college sports, you're swimming.
Yeah, I've been calling the dinosaurs for the last 10 hours, so
Well, we appreciate you giving us a little bit of clarity.
Thanks, buddy.
It really means a lot, and the fact that you took the time out of your family vacation to give us 25 minutes is very much appreciated. So get back, have some fun, and let's catch up soon.
Hey, take care, guys, and always fun to chat.
Thanks.
Bye, buddy.
Brad Hinrich from the Swarm Collective joining us on the Rush Radio Show. Again, the fact that he did that in a short amount of time is classy. I mean,
here's something that we know for sure. Brad Hinrich will pick up the phone.
Yes,
he'll take a phone call. Why don't they make that call from Iowa City?
Isn't it amazing?
You gotta be freaking kidding me, man.
It's like,
dude,
really?
He dropped a lot on us there, dude. Here's something I realize. So all of that is great stuff. Hey, the let's just go back for a minute. I know we're going to run out of time. We're going to do this all tomorrow because we're going to have Salvador de Alba come up. But holy cow, was there a lot of bombs that he unveiled on us. Here's the one I want to say to you. Here's what they're doing. You know how when you go to Hy-Vee and at the end of your checkout, they ask you to make some sort of donation to some
round up
to some sort of charity that they are getting all of the benefits from.
Yeah,
that's what this is. The flight fund is them at the very end of all of your transactions saying, "Hey, a little bit more. We got we agreed to pay these bills. We need your money to pay those bills."
Salvador is in his hotel room. We're going to take a break. We'll come back and talk some IndyCar racing on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
Don't you hate when you're on a road trip and you want to stop somewhere to get something to eat, but you need to take a look at the menu first? Here at Willis Nissan, we decided to implement some menus to make servicing your car easier and more efficient. Our menu offers good, better, and best packages based off of your mileage of your vehicle. And we're offering 10% off the entire menu for the month of June if you mention this ad. Feel free to make an appointment at willisnissan.com or walk on in and make sure that your car is ready for the road trips that you're going on this summer.
Missing a quality home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
Looking for the perfect golf escape? Experience links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.
Hi, I'm Sean McFarland, Service Manager at Mini of Des Moines. School is out and summer is here. Before you hit the road for your motoring adventures, visit us for your oil changes, get your AC checked out, or make sure your tires are roadworthy. Give us a call to schedule or visit us online at miniofdesmoines.com.
Back to the Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Good to have you along. Of course, coming up July 11th and 13th at the Iowa Speedway will be the Indy Car Series, the Soup Cup IndyCar race making its way to the Iowa Speedway. If you hear the out at Newton yesterday, they were doing the testing. And joining us now on the Rush Radio Show is Salvador de Alba. Hi, Salvador. How you doing?
Hey, I'm very good. Just happy to be here. As you said yesterday, we were testing at the Speedway and just getting ready for the race weekend.
It's a lot of the vroom, 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 vroom.
He's used to it.
Yeah, we're used to it. But yeah, we were averaging yesterday more than 170 miles per hour. So yeah, it's fast, huh? It's fast, and it's a very good Speedway. Just getting ready for the race weekend. Last year it was a very good year for us. The first podium on the category for me. So yeah, we're happy. We're excited about being here. All the fans just cheering for us at the grandstand, and it's just a very good weekend.
It seemed this. Go ahead, Trav. Sorry.
You went 170 on that short track. Where I'm just trying to picture, where do you get the most velocity? Is it on the straightaway? I mean, obviously, but I mean, are you going 170 for like 1.2 seconds? I mean, how long do you maintain that 170?
That 170 is the average itself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we may be going a little faster and then a little slower, but it's just almost flat out the whole 18 seconds, which is the lap time we do per lap.
And Salvador, I mean, again, the Iowa Speedway, that 7/8 mile, it's not really a true oval. Does it race more just like a circle?
Well, yeah, it's like a D, you know.
Like a D, okay, yeah.
In an oval we divide it in 4. It's 1, 2, and then 3, 4. The only break we have is between 2 and 3, which is a short straight. But then out of 4 through 1, you're always turning, you know. So the start finish line is you keep turning it just a little bit.
So does that change? That obviously changes like those G forces that you're feeling that entire way around. Does that take different preparation? Does it take a different skill set? Is there a reason guys are successful here in Iowa?
Well, yeah, obviously we prepare for everything, right? And the thing is, this year the calendar is we do road course, we do oval, then we do road course again, and then we do oval. So it's a big deal for the crew at the shop to keep building the car for ovals and then back to road courses, and for us just keep changing. But that's what we need to do, you know, just be prepared for everything, go fast. Yesterday was a very good day for the 27 car of Grupo Indy Andretti, and yeah, we're fast in the oval. The whole team is getting good, and the whole field is fast, you know. We were 18 cars going around and fast yesterday.
So, you know, you were driving just last month the Indy 500. What's harder, driving a track like Indy or a track like Iowa that's so short?
Well, I wish I was driving the 500. I was watching the whole month for the Andretti crew.
Okay, sorry. But when you're on a larger speedway, what's harder? A short track or a bigger oval?
Well, for sure it must be more mental being on a short oval, but everything goes. It feels slower. I think like we go to Nashville, right, which is a way bigger speedway, but yeah, in this kind of ovals like Iowa, everything goes fast. You know, you go, like I said before, between the corner 2 and corner 3 is a little break, and that's all you get. Just a break there and keep going, right?
What a fascinating answer, Salvador, because I'll be honest, there was a part of me that did think that Iowa might get a little bit boring and repetitive because it's just 18-second laps, because you've got, you know, hit the turn, hold the turn, get the straight, hit the turn, hold the turn. Now I understand what you're talking about, that it is a little bit more mentally taxing because you have to hold that line through that entire D, as you put it. Great way to put it. Yesterday you threw out, was it yesterday you threw out the first pitch at the Iowa Cubs? Is that happening today?
We're doing it today. Yeah, today.
You're doing that today. Is this the first time is this the first time you've ever done that?
Yeah, the first time. I'm excited about that.
Have you played baseball? Most racers are not. They don't do other sports. If you're a race car driver, you've been a race car driver your whole life. So
yeah.
Stick and ball sports weren't your thing, huh?
I haven't done it. I need to practice a little bit.
Practice. Trust this. Practice. How did you grew up in what, Guadalajara? Did I get that right?
Yeah, back in Mexico.
So how old were you when you first got in a car and started going fast? I mean, did you start with go-karts? We've talked to several other drivers. Did you start with go-karts? How'd you get started in racing?
Yeah. The normal path is just to start in karting. That's what we did. Since I can remember, I was in love with all that has to do with racing, And then at 8 years old, 7, 8 years old, I started karting, and then that changed everything. It was my dad and me just driving around the country doing karting, and then I did a lot of racing in Mexico, NASCAR Mexico, and a couple more championships there. And the goal and the dream was to be here, right? But I didn't find the budget, the opportunities didn't came, and then later on, it was a different and an uncommon path. In 2021, which I was 21 at the moment. That point, it started my journey in America, right? And now we're here, happy about it. There's a lot of people involved, a lot of enterprises and sponsors that have helped to do this, especially Grupo Indy that has put the trust on us and to be here. And the ultimate goal is to be in IndyCar.
Yeah. And signing with Andretti, that's got to be an absolute dream come true. I mean, any kid that ever touches a wheel knows the name Andretti, and signing under that banner had to be like a real highlight. But if I asked you when did you have the most fun?
The most fun. Well, I think karting. When I remember about karting, that was very fun. But at the moment, I was achieving to win, and probably I didn't had the fun or thought that was super fun as now I remember it.
Yeah.
Now it's a business. Then it was like you're having fun. Now it's like, okay, it is a business.
It's fun. It's super fun. Yesterday, going with our teammates in circles more than 170 miles per hour, just trying to be fast and finding more speed and everything. It's fun. But those days were even more.
Do you guys test every track? Because people are like, you don't test every track. I didn't know how that worked. So some weeks you just show up and you've never been on it.
Yeah, well, this is my second year in the category, in the class. So I've been to every track now, but there's some preseason testing. In the Indy Next Series, we have just official testing. So if the series decides to go to Sebring, we all go to Sebring. If the series decides to go to Iowa, all the series come to Iowa, right? So that makes it very fair to everyone. Just that we all test the same.
Okay.
And in other classes or series, you can do private testing, and that's a big difference, between big budgets and small budgets. So that's a very good thing about Indy Next, that we all test the same before and in the season. So this season I think it was 12 days testing, 12 days between the one year and the other one, which is fairly good. The bad part is mostly all of the tests from the preseason was raining, so it didn't help that much.
Oh.
Yeah, it was good. And now it's been a couple ones that we proper test. Like yesterday it was a proper test.
Okay, so if you're racing on a track that you don't get to do a proper test on, what do you do to prepare for it? I mean, you said you're on a limited budget, because the first thing I was going to say is like a simulator. Do you play video games? What do you do to actually prepare for a track before?
Well, at the shop, all my crew, my engineer, just help me get the most out of before getting to the track. Right? In that, it counts the simulator, it counts just video, just watching data, preparing the best way you can to get to the track and say, hey, I'll do this. I'll brake here. I'll go to roll here. I'll do this. We'll try this. So that's the way you do it to get the most out of every track, because track time is super limited.
Yeah.
For Iowa on the race weekend, we're having for sure we're having one practice, 45-minute practice, then qualifying, which is 2 laps, green, white, checker. That's it, and then the race, right?
Can I ask another one, Travis? So we asked about the thing that was the most fun. When you're karting, you're a kid, you dream of these days like this. Now it is a job. It's a job. What's the hardest part of your job?
Well, I'll say,
and you can't say getting up early to talk to morons.
that was early. That was early. I will say being out of home. I'm from Mexico, so I'm probably half of the year out from home. So just being out and not going to family reunions and things, that's hard. But I like very much that all my family gets it, and when I'm there with my friends, my girlfriend, everyone at home, the moment I'm there, we do something fun and we catch up.
So you mentioned you drove NASCAR Mexico. Was it? Is there? What's the difference between the cars? And is there a learning curve when you go into a new series?
Yeah, it's everything different. Like the normal way to come until here to IndyNext or the Ultimate Series, which is IndyCar, is just to be in open wheel the whole time. For me, this was the way, and I'm very happy how it's turning on. But yeah, we were driving stock cars in Mexico, which is NASCAR, which is very heavy cars. We mostly do ovals, and yeah, we don't have aerodynamics, right? So the first time I was here, I have to learn a lot of things, how the aero is helping, or what do we need to change on the aero to do the car faster, and everything goes faster because the open wheel, it's 1 inch from the floor, tires are way softer, probably less than half the weight on the car. So it was a lot of changes, but the main thing, or the science about driving, is the same. You just gotta adapt some things. My best compare is like you know how to ride a bike, but you ride it different if it's a mountain bike or if it's a road bike. So that's how I compare it.
I would have thought the racing would be completely different, because in a heavy car in that NASCAR series, you're able to bump, you're able to, a lot more physical racing than you're able to do at IndyCar. You with open wheel racing, you have to keep distance from the guys around you. So that would seem to me to be
the minimum. You want to be as close as you can.
Okay, I like that.
So we asked this to all the drivers that come on the show. Have you ever been picked up for speeding? And if so, how fast were you going and what were you driving?
It wasn't a ticket, but the first time I was here, I was driving from from Chicago to Indy, and it was the preseason, which was January, so super cold, snow. I'm not used to that in Mexico. Probably the coldest we have back home in winter is, I don't know, 50 degrees, right? So I was freezing in the car, and I was driving at night, like it was like 12 because the late flight, and just driving to Indy to get home. And they stopped me. I was super nervous. I didn't know how to park or to go over because it was all snow in the end of the highway. So I was super slow to park, and then he came and said, "Hey, why are you so slow parking?" And I was like, I don't know how to park. I don't know what to do. Give me your driver's license. And he was at the car like for I don't know if it's the real. I feel like it was for 15 minutes. Maybe it was 5. But then he came back and said, "You're good to go." So never again. I said, I don't want to be stopped. Never again.
That's great.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I hope you have a good time here in Iowa while you're here. Have fun at the game tonight. Ross and I are both recommending just go toss the ball around. Just toss it around.
Here's a tip, okay? Get your fingertips on the seams, the red part.
He's gonna grab a ball for you. He's gonna give you some tips.
All right, so get your fingertips on that. That'll help you control it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you. I'll need to practice some.
Yeah, a little bit. Just throw it around a little bit. And don't. Oh, by the way, don't go all the way to the mound. You don't have to go all the way to the little white strip. You can just go out there on the dirt and throw it. Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Don't feel like you got to go all the way up there.
That helps.
There you go, Salvador. Good luck to you, buddy.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time today, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. 170 miles an hour.
That's the average, dude.
Average.
I mean, they're churning it up.
Wow.
Think about and I got to ride in the 2-seat Indy car one time, and it doesn't go as fast as they were going yesterday, dude. The G-forces thing that is.
Because you got banking there, you know. If you go to Indianapolis, there's not much banking at Indianapolis. If you go to Newton, there's some banking on those corners, and the weird thing is, even when you're in the stands, you see the banking. When you remember how we've been on the pits, and you walk up, you're like, "Oh my God,
it's incredible."
Wasn't the first couple of years? I mean, guys were like. Was it Texas or was it Iowa where they were just passing out because the G-forces were just so...
Oh, I don't think that happened at Iowa. I don't remember that. Did that happen in Texas where guys were passing out?
Passing out.
Holy cow. I can see how...
You know those G-force exercises, you got to go... It's like you're taking a big dump. You know, you got to grunt all the way through it.
That ball, by the way, signed by Jose Canseco.
Look at that.
Not really. My friend Ryan Childs did that, but yeah. So here's my story of the 2-seat Indy car. I think I've told you this. It was sponsored by one of the WHO Iowa coroners. I think that would have been it. That makes sense, right? So we got invited to go over there to like do a report on what it was like to ride the 2-seat Indy car. So there's a group of about 10 people. Most of them are old farmers and people that are bigwigs with that. And I'm going to go last in the group. The very first person that went, she's about 70 years old. She climbs in the 2-seat Indy car. It takes off. It does the 5 laps or whatever, pulls in, and she gets out. Biggest smile you've ever seen in your life. She's like, that was amazing. That was so cool. So it goes all the way through the line. And there were some other funny things that happened in there. But the point of this story is it's my turn. I get in the car, strap in. Take off down pit lane, turns down what would be considered 1 and 2, and we're onto the back straightaway. And we're flying, dude. And Travis says, we went onto that bank that you're talking about, and those G-forces first hit me. It pins you into the corner of the car. I swear to God, I started to get tunnel vision.
Really?
I swear to God. So I started to get like tunnel vision, like you're about to pass out. And in a second, I had this entire thought of, That 70-year-old lady got out of this car with a smile on her face. If you're unconscious, when they pull you out of this car, wake up.
Oh, man.
The other funny thing that happened, we're in line. One of these farmers, again, man's man. You know what I mean? This guy, he's never had anybody tell him what to do in his life. He talks like a Texas Ranger. And there's this gal in the trailer, and she's helping us get our fire suits on and pick our helmets and all that. And in there's like a price sheet because a lot of you can buy the ride. It's cheaper to drive the car. And the guy's like, wait a minute. You guys let people drive the car? And she's like, yep, we do this program where you learn how to drive it. And then you go out and you actually get to, you're not right away, but you learn how to drive the car. And he's like, well, if I got to pick, I would drive it. And this girl says, no, you wouldn't. You shouldn't. He goes, yeah, I'd want to drive it. And she says, no, you wouldn't. You think you've got the balls to pin that car into that corner at 170 miles an hour, don't you? And he goes, yes, I do. And she says, you don't. Every video, we shoot a video of you driving around. You go about 100 miles an hour. You go fast. Do you want to go 100 miles an hour around this track, or do you want to go 170?
They're not wrong. I did the petty driving experience down in Vegas, and looking back, you're like, oh, I just wish somebody would have drove me going really fast because I didn't have the balls. Because you don't know, it takes you to learn how to do a corner, and it's counterproductive to what you want to do because you're supposed to floor it through the corner. You're about halfway through the corner, and you want a slingshot out of there. Well, human instinct says, put on the brake, put on the brake, put on the brake. Don't, it's just, no, I enjoy driving it, but looking back, I would have rather been a passenger and just said, all right.
And
go.
almost black out from the ride.
Yes. Man.
It was a ride. That was one of the coolest things I ever got to do, man. That was awesome.
And again, if you haven't been to the IndyCar races or any of the races at the Iowa Speedway, they're so much fun. The track is great. I'm glad they have racing back there. I'm glad they have NASCAR again this year, IndyCar again this year. It just is one of the great several events that we have in Central Iowa, which is so cool. And thanks to Salvador de Alba for joining us today. And again, Ross, I hope he tosses the ball around because you can embarrass yourself on a first pitch.
Fingers on the seams.
Yes.
Yep,
and great advice. Just go to the edge of the dirt.
Yep. Don't go to the mound.
Yeah. Don't go to the mound.
And again, I hope whoever's doing the PA tonight, maybe even mention for the first time ever, throwing a baseball from Guadalajara, Mexico. He would kick your ass on a racetrack. Salvador de Alba. That's the thing. Most racers are not stick and ball guys. These sports, nah. I've been racing my whole life. How do you get, Travis, you kind of talked about it. How do you get to where you can go 170 miles an hour on that track? Well, when you're 8 years old, you get a cart and you start racing with your buddies and you start slinging yourselves around corners.
You bring up a good point. Think about what you just said there, because I think there's a lot of people who could pick up a ball and a bat at age 10 and learn the game. Football, I guarantee you can learn football starting in high school and become pretty good. Basketball, you can start later. You have to get into a car 7, 8, 9 years old to build the confidence and get rid of the fear of going fast.
Yep. The one question we didn't get to that I wanted to ask him was if he's ever really raced on dirt. I didn't see in his bio anything in there about any sort of dirt racing.
Yeah.
And again, just a different.
He's from Guadalajara. He's raced on dirt.
But the karting, dude, I'm telling you, starting.
I know what I know.
Starting at 8, 9, and then getting into the NASCAR thing, I'm maybe not. I don't know.
What I love about certain racers when you talk about dirt racing, and I'm not talking, Boone County Speedway. I'm talking Knoxville. Even there are some like IndyCar drivers, even NASCAR drivers go, Sprint car is not for me. I mean, it's just a different. I mean, we got a screw loose. They got a screw loose.
They don't have any screws tight. You have a screw loose. They've got all the screws loose.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, I love sprint car racing, and I think that's always been the thrill of it to me. And Tyler does say Boone is up there with Knoxville. He's absolutely. He didn't mean it disparagingly, Tyler.
Yeah,
I
didn't mean
promise
to
you
disparage. Yeah, it's
yeah.
just
And Boone is an amazing track, but dude, that sprint car, I'm with you. There's something about. Here's what I want to do. I'm going to get on dirt. I'm going to go about 120. Then I'm going to do a U-turn. What are you going to do during that U-turn? I'm going to floor it. I'm going to floor it.
Oh man. Yeah, Knoxville.
I'm going to build a car that is just an engine and wheels, and it would try to go into orbit if I didn't put wings on it.
Yeah, I'm going to put wings on it to keep it grounded.
It's crazy.
I hit like 95 on the road yesterday, and I'm like, okay, this is too fast.
And that's in western Nebraska, dead straight.
Straight. I mean, it is the straightest road, Highway 20, and there's nobody else on the road. But I had to make one pass, and I'm like, okay. I look down, I'm like, 95. I'll go, okay. My Suburban's going way too fast right now.
And those dudes do it on a quarter mile.
And when you go to Newton, think about it, 18 seconds to do a lap.
To do 7/8 of a mile. 18 seconds.
And they are braking during that.
And it's fun, Travis. You've been there. It is fun racing. If you have not been to a race at Newton, I would say things like there's no bad seats, but that's not quite true. It just depends on what it is that you're wanting to do. If you sit down by the track, you aren't going to be able to see the action all the way around, but you get that thrill of those cars going by you at 170 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Sit a little bit further up, you're further away from the rumble, still feel it, don't get that rush of air and all that going past you, but you get to see the whole track, and it's great.
All right, great show today. If you missed any of it, we want to thank Brad Hinrich for joining us, Salvador de Alba for joining us. Very much appreciated. Ross, could you do me a favor? I need you to keep the butt up until 8:01. People are probably wondering what the butt is, but I'll text you when you can shut it off. All right? It's
like Kim Kardashian. Keep the butt up. And a big thanks to Elon Musk for today's show too.
It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
Hey everybody, Mason Miller, sales manager out here at Mini of Des Moines. We got some great things going on this month. Right now you can lease a brand new Countryman for as low as $369 a month for 39 months. Also, we're running a 3.99% at up to 60 on all models, excluding the convertible. Also, you can lease a new two-door hardtop as low as $299 a month lease. If you have any other questions, come visit your favorite motoring advisor or visit us online at miniofdesmoines.com.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Are you thinking about buying a home this year? Start by getting pre-approved with Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines to see how much you can qualify for and what loan programs meet your needs. Gary can get you pre-approved in 30 minutes or less with a pre-approval letter to you. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA loans along with FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Summer's here, and that means extra miles on your car. With road trips, summer activities, and more, stop in now and get a vehicle inspection to make sure your Land Rover is in the best shape possible. We'll even throw in $25 off an oil change. Give us a call or head online at LandRoverDesMoines.com to schedule your appointment today.
Bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Back to The Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's The Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.